Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, who are Israel's deadly enemies and what are their plans? Islamic Jihad and Hamas both hate Israel but have very different agendas. And behind them is the ultimate enemy for Israel.
So one way or the other, we have actually to prepare ourselves for something bigger when it comes to Iran and its proxies.
But first, in the headlines here at home, talks over raising the debt ceiling are still ongoing, but clear divisions remain.
It's time for Republicans to accept that there is no bipartisan deal to be made solely on their partisan terms. They have to move as well.
I've been very clear to them from the very beginning. We have to spend less money than we spent last year.
Remembering pastor and best-selling author Tim Keller, who died of pancreatic cancer. A look at how he influenced a generation and brought the gospel to millions.
One way to put the gospel in a nutshell is this: you are more wicked than you ever dared believe, and yet you are more loved and accepted in Jesus Christ than you ever dared hope.
Schools in America still facing the dangers of mass shootings.
What does school safety look like in our country? It looks as bad as Uvalde and as good as Tennessee, and everything in the middle.
We'll hear how the ways security experts say students can be protected. And it was a hit in theaters, and the movie Jesus Revolution, about the Jesus movement 50 years ago, is also a big success on home video. Those stories and more today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We'll take you to the Middle East in just a few moments for our look at the agendas of Israel's enemies. But first, here at home, a key meeting today in Washington between House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Joe Biden on raising the government's debt limit. A key issue, possible limits on government spending. CBN's Dale Hurd has our report.
After a weekend of on-again, off-again negotiations over raising the nation's debt ceiling, there is still nothing close to agreement between congressional Republicans and the White House. Joe Biden landed back in Washington overnight after the G7 summit, cutting off the second half of his trip to the Asia-Pacific region. He spoke to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy by phone yesterday, and both sounded somewhat positive.
I believe it was a productive phone call.
But there's still no deal, and Biden and McCarthy will meet this afternoon with congressional leaders. Republicans want the government to spend less next year than this year. The White House proposed raising taxes on business.
I've been very clear to them from the very beginning. We have to spend less money than we spent last year.
Biden is calling Republican demands extreme.
I think there are some MAGA Republicans in the House who know the damage that it would do to the economy. And because I am president and president's responsible for everything, Biden would take the blame.
Biden says he believes he has the legal right to invoke the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to raise the debt ceiling. But there's not enough time to get through the legal challenges. Senator Ted Cruz called Biden's view legally frivolous.
By the way, someone else who agreed with that was Barack Obama. The left tried to convince Obama to do this, and Obama said, no, you can't do this under the Constitution.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said again over the weekend she believes June 1st is the hard deadline for a default if there's no deal. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that a default would tip the economy into a recession, costing more than 7 million jobs and causing the stock market to lose 20% of its value. Former Defense Secretary and CIA Director Bob Gates told CBS's Face the Nation the crisis is hurting America's global reputation.
Having these episodes of great crisis and then some solution at the last second really feeds a notion that the U.S. political system isn't working at all.
One Republican lawmaker suggested the crisis has already passed the point of no return, saying there's no way Congress can reach an agreement by the June 1st deadline. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
South Carolina Republican Governor Tim Scott is set to formally announce his run for the presidency today at Charleston Southern University, a private Baptist college and Scott's alma mater in his hometown of North Charleston. Scott, the only black Republican in the Senate, focuses on an optimistic vision for the future of America, but he has also criticized the president and Democrats, saying if you wanted a blueprint to ruin America, you'd keep doing exactly what Joe Biden has let the far left do to our country for the past 2 years. The senator holds mainstream Republican views on reducing government spending and says he would sign a federal law to forbid abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy if elected. But he has also pushed the party on some policing overhaul measures since the murder of George Floyd. He describes himself as a born-again believer, often quoting scripture at campaign events. I want to turn now to the death of the man who was a spiritual hero to many. Pastor and author Tim Keller, who died at the age of 72 late last week after battling cancer. His ministry in New York has inspired countless leaders to preach and teach with a greater understanding of both Scripture and community. Heather Sells has this look at Keller's life and ministry.
Pastor and best-selling author Tim Keller brought the gospel to millions, influencing a generation for Christ. He spoke and wrote in an approachable way that helped answer tough intellectual questions and deep cultural issues.
One way to put the gospel in a nutshell is this: you are more wicked than you ever dared believe, and yet you are more loved and accepted in Jesus Christ than you ever dared hope.
In 1989, he left his small Virginia congregation outside of Richmond to begin Redeemer Presbyterian in Manhattan. He soon learned how to reach skeptical young professionals with messages that made Scripture both inviting and convicting.
The Bible is not the record of people following the rules and grabbing the blessing. The Bible is a record of grace breaking into people's lives, usually in the form of suffering, who otherwise would never have been able to overcome their own corruption and brokenness.
Keller led Redeemer and its church plants for 28 years, while also publishing best-selling books like The Reason for God. And he co-founded the Gospel Coalition, a fellowship of evangelical churches in the Reformed tradition. Many pastors and ministry leaders have cited his influence on their thinking as a brilliant prophetic scholar who understood God and culture. In 2020, he announced his battle with pancreatic cancer. In recent days, families said he prayed, "I'm ready to see Jesus. Send me home." Heather Sells, CBN News.
Coming up, we go to the Middle East for a close-up look at Israel's deadly enemies, Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and we'll hear why. Although they both hate Israel, they have very different ways of accomplishing their goals. We're going to look at that story when we come back.
Your news channel, your shows, the stories you care about. Anytime you want, anywhere you want. Download the CBN News app today.
Hamas and Islamic Jihad, the two terror groups operating within the Gaza, share a common hatred of Israel, but they also have very different agendas. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl takes a look at what's driving these two groups.
Hamas formed in 1987 and has held political power over the Gaza Strip since it seized power in a violent coup from Fatah in 2007.
Each one of them is having a totally different view about how to run the sacred fight against Israel and how to bring in salvation for the Palestinians.
Professor Uzi Rabi of Tel Aviv University sees Hamas having a more political long-term priority, which is why Hamas stayed out of the fighting.
He would like to have a foothold in Judea and Samaria, and in due time actually to replace Abu Mazen, the old leader of Fatah movement, and they would like to turn Hamas into the unquestionable leader of Palestine. They are also having a kind of an influence in East Jerusalem.
Hamas also wants to be seen as protector of the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount. While both Hamas and Islamic Jihad get support from Iran, the latter is much more connected to the regime and focused more on violence than politics.
This is, by the way, a very, very extremist organization. They don't have whatsoever agenda in the sense of running people, in the sense of conducting the daily life of a society. They are a very, very extremist group, which was founded in 1981, which means actually more than 40 years ago. They are ultimate proxies of Iran.
Rabi says the 1979 Islamic Revolution that brought the Ayatollah and mullahs to power in Iran has had lasting influence on Islamic Jihad.
For Iran, this is actually kind of a win-win because they're going to have a proxy next to Israel, sitting side by side to Israel. In a way, I would say act in accordance with what Iran's diktats are.
According to Rabi, Israel and some Arab states in the region are concerned about Iran activating its proxies.
They are trying actually to just build up sort of a thick belt around Israel, including Judea and Samaria, Gaza, Jerusalem, Lebanon, with the hope of fanning the flame between Israelis and Arabs in Israel proper.
Rabi sees Israel trying to drive a wedge between Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and Hamas realizes it could have lost money had it entered the recent battle against Israel.
Many work permits for more than 17,000 Palestinians. This is kind of a game changer when it comes to the Gazan economy. Hamas got actually new rights when it comes to the fishery. Hamas gets money from Qatar. This is, for the time being, very, very comfortable for Hamas.
He adds that while this strategy works for now on a tactical level, in the long run, Israel will have to deal with Hamas, which is building forces to the north in Lebanon.
So one way or the other, we have actually to prepare ourselves for something bigger when it comes to Iran and its proxies.
That means the Middle East as a whole has big decisions to make as it heads further into the 21st century.
There is an ongoing cooperation between so many Arab states and Israel. This is almost a miracle after the Abraham Accords. On the other hand, there are some challenges coming from these guys in the Middle East. And Iran and its allies are trying actually to install instability in order to make Iran much more hegemonic than it is.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Still ahead, we return to show you how to stop active shooters in schools. Research shows technology is not the answer. We'll take a look at how students and staff are being trained to respond to the threats right after this. The epidemic of school shootings in America has parents demanding action to keep their children safe. School security has become a $3 billion a year industry, with much of that cost invested in high-tech equipment. Experts say the money will be better spent on training staff and students to recognize and respond to threats. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke explains.
On April 20th, 1999, 2 students walked into Columbine High School and opened fire. In the 24 years since 13 students were killed here, there have been nearly 380 school shootings, exposing hundreds of children to gun violence and revealing an epidemic that's yet to find its cure.
Let's go! Metro Police!
In the aftermath of the Covenant school shooting in Nashville, children, parents, and officials once again find themselves struggling with how to keep schools safe.
The children of this country are demanding action. Our classrooms have become killing fields. Is that acceptable?
I don't think one piece of legislation solved this. We got to deal with mental illness.
School security has grown to a $3 billion industry, with investments in everything from video surveillance technology to bulletproof doors and electronic locks. And while technology is important, experts say it likely would not prevent the next attack.
When people are the problem, people are always going to be the solution.
Jimmy Graham is the CEO and founder of Able Shepherd, an elite active shooter training program in Denver, Colorado. Graham says it's people knowing exactly what to do in an emergency that saves lives.
So I'll walk into an institution and I'll say, can I talk to this lady right here? And I say, ma'am, what would you do if you heard gunshots? She says, I don't know. I said, well, that's where we need to start.
Drawing on his background as a Navy SEAL and involvement with the CIA's Global Response Staff, Graham developed DEFEND. The acronym stands for Defense, Evacuate, Fortify, Emergency Medical Aid, Notify Others, and Dial 911. A strategy based on international safety protocols.
There's an unbelievably efficient model for protecting our diplomats overseas, but not our children. Right? So why is that? Because it's the same model. That model, what I've done is I've scaled it and said we don't need, some of this stuff is not applicable, but to bring that back home and place the principles, here's a defensive principle. To get to them, you have to go through me.
Abel Shepard also provides training for those likely to respond to active shooter situations, whether that be an individual, a security team, law enforcement, or even faculty. The training is reality-based, allowing those who go through it to experience live scenarios.
Gunshot, gun out, be ready, be ready, be ready. Fire! Fire! Tell him to stay down, tell him to go down.
Graham stresses that even with all the right tools, security plans won't work if school leaders don't maintain the proper environment.
The best way to describe it would be this. I get a whole faculty together and I say, whose job is it to protect this place? And everybody at the same time says, mine.
In 1999, as a first responder at Columbine, Deacon Ernie Martinez experienced the moment the country realized children weren't safe at school.
The big wake-up call was twofold, I think. Number one is their evil does exist without any reasons for it, right? And number two is it woke us up to, as not only a law enforcement community, but as a community as a whole, that everybody should participate.
Martinez, now retired after 40 years in law enforcement, is the director of deacons for the Archdiocese of Denver. Among his roles, helping schools in the Archdiocese come up with security plans.
The important thing is collaboration, leveraging assets, partnering with local law enforcement, because we have parishes and churches and schools all across northern Colorado, and everybody is in their own different financial statuses, right? So you need to partner with your local law enforcement. You need to partner with local schools, whether they're public schools or not.
It's common sense steps like training and collaboration that experts believe provide schools the best chance at stopping an active shooter, since preventing them entirely is highly unlikely.
We're unique, right? What does America have that other countries don't have? Two things. One, a Second Amendment, and two, more guns than people. By most accounts, there's over 450 million guns for just over 300 million people.
Back in 2016, research from Johns Hopkins University found even the highest priced technology did nothing to help stop mass shootings. Researchers writing, quote, "There is no universal school safety solution. No one technology will solve all school safety and security issues. The sheer number of schools and school districts across the country, with different geography, funding, building construction and layout, demographics, and priorities, make each one different."
What does school safety look like in our country? It looks as bad as Uvalde and as good as Tennessee, and everything in the middle.
Former D.C. Homeland Security Chief Donnell Harvin says it's important that people keep talking about school security, even after the news cycle moves on.
Many people are apathetic and have given up, and many people are desensitized. And we can't allow that apathy and that kind of, mindset to take hold of the fact that the next shooter is planning and there's kids in that classroom.
When it comes to school security, parents can also make a difference. The key is communication. Ask your child's school what they're doing, what they're not, and then don't stop asking until you get the right answer. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Denver, Colorado.
Coming up, Jesus Revolution was a big hit in theaters, and now it's been a major success in home video as well. We're going to bring you that story when we come back. Stay with us.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place, all day, every day. The CBN News Channel. Download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com. CBN News.
After becoming a box office hit in theaters, Jesus Revolution was also a smash in the home movie industry. The faith-based film climbed to the top spot this month in DVD and Blu-ray sales in the U.S. The movie tells the story of a hippie-led revival in the 1960s and 70s that launched the ministries of Chuck Smith, Greg Laurie, and others. While the film's success may have stunned Hollywood, it did not surprise Greg Laurie, who told CBN News he sees God at work through the film.
People are hungry for this, and I was amazed when I saw how it outsold movies like Top Gun, Avatar, and the new Ant-Man movie. Like, why are people wanting to see this? I think they've heard about it. They heard about it in the theaters, because I've never heard of a movie in a theater that had people breaking into spontaneous prayer and worship. Or like I heard one story about it was shown in the theater, and afterwards some kids wanted to be baptized, and they baptized them in the fountain in front of the theater. I've never heard of such things. So I think these are all like little indications that God is at work.
And you'll be able to watch the full interview with Greg and Kathy Laurie in the coming weeks here on the CBN News Channel. Time now for your Monday motivation, and I leave you with this thought as we begin another week together. God has big plans for you. Yes, you. It's time now to shed some weight. You can't take everything or everyone with you in this next phase of the journey. Hear me well. Lay aside the weight. If it is not propelling you forward, it's holding you in place and possibly even pushing you back. With that word, make today a marvelous Monday. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you for watching. You can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel, as well as online at any time. The address is cbnnews.com. We look forward to seeing you right back here same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. God bless.